But before we do that, let me ask you guys a question, because I I didn't see the beginning of the game on TV. I was listening on the radio. Seth had a soccer game and they won. They won another tournament. Yeah, it was awesome. So I'm
That's awesome.
listening to the beginning of the game and all those frustrating penalties and everything. I'm hearing the announcers talk about it. But there was a play where Bosa got a sack, and Tim Ryan said, I know he doesn't have the numbers, but I think Bosa is playing the best football of his career. And I was curious to know what you guys thought about that, because when I have watched in previous weeks, I do feel like he is. I mean, Bosa's always been great from the beginning, but I feel like he is impacting more plays more often, even if he's not getting a sack. Like, he's making something happen. And I was like, that might be right. And he won't win Defensive Player of the Year this year. I think it's already too late for him unless he somehow starts having like 3 sacks a game for the rest of the season. But what do you guys think about that statement? Like, do you feel like he's somehow gotten better? Or is he having a bigger impact, or is it just Tim Ryan hyping up a D lineman?
Probably again.
I
Go ahead, Jason.
Well, what would be the season you would compare it against? Like, if this is number one, what would be number two? Would it be his 2019 rookie season, or what would be the next?
Probably the one that he got
2022.
Defensive Player of the Year.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
obviously. Duh. Okay.
18 and a half.
But you
It's
know
tough.
what's funny about that year is, like, I remember watching him that year and thinking, well, at some point Bosa's going to get his 1 sack, but outside of his 1 sack per game, it just felt like he was. I mean, I guess he was taking on a lot of double teams or whatever. So I'm not trying to say he was bad. He was still good. He was still really good, and I'm glad he won that award. But I felt like, where's Bosa? Where's Bosa? Oh, there's his sack, and then where's Bosa? Where's Bosa? Like, it was feast or famine.
Yeah, I agree. I would say I do think this has been his best season, which is weird because the stats haven't been there, but he has just been so consistent, and he's been on a tear. I feel like these last 3 games especially, he has just been terrorizing offensive lines. So yeah, overall most impact, like, I feel like this season he's been the most impactful that I've seen him consistently.
What do you think, Ryan?
Yeah, I agree and disagree. Like I said, the truth is usually somewhere in the middle. I thought in 2022 when he had 18 and a half sacks, I do know what you mean, where he would get his sack and then there would be drives or quarters or halves where he would just kind of be non-existent. But I also feel like I remember seeing him make a lot of plays in the run game. Like, he was an excellent run defender that season. I think he has been really since he's gotten to the Niners. This season, though,
Yeah.
I do agree. It feels like he's having a huge impact on a lot of these games, and he's just not filling out the stat sheet for whatever reason. I don't know if he's struggling to close. I mean, he's admitted himself he's a little frustrated with some of the lack of sack production, but it feels like he's a terrorist on the field for the other team sometimes. Like, they've got tight ends on him, and he's just he was destroying Jake Ferguson over and over. Doesn't matter if he's over the right tackle or the left tackle. He's in the backfield constantly. That first pick that Dak threw to Jair Brown, Nick was in his face and hit him, and probably, I mean, that was a terrible throw, regardless of Nick in your face or not. But he's disrupting at a high level. I don't know if he's playing the best ball of his career. He might be, but to me, that just probably shows how good and dominant and consistent of a player he is.